The judge just revealed a very important update in the YSL case. Here's a clip from the latest hearing.
He's the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's king slime. He is the most dangerous of the 28, Judge. And I implore you not to grant him a bond. He is dangerous. If he gets a burner, Judge, and the court may know this, a lot of the communications that Mr. Williams is on FaceTime because it's not traceable, it's not trackable. Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will them and their family. And they were very clear about that.
Concerns that this court has is danger to persons and to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
Now this is something that no one expected. Members of YSL are now snitching on the head honcho Young Thug. After 28 members of YSL were arrested during the YSL mansion raid, a few of them are now creating proffer deals with the feds, meaning they are giving information on Young Thug in exchange for a lesser sentence for themselves. Now here's exclusive footage from the YSL mansion raid. Now, during the last court hearing, the judge revealed what the prison sentence length is for a RICO case of this size. In court, it was announced Young Thug and his YSL associates are responsible for over 50 passings of rival street members, as well as active instances of firearm use in the public. The Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis spoke with the local Atlanta News, adding that the indictment reportedly includes allegations of 3 passings and dozens more. One passing has been identified as Donovan Thomas. Young Thug is accused of renting the 2014 Infiniti Q50 sedan from Hertz that was used during the Thomas passing. They add, Thomas's passing is extremely significant. Willis said, it occurred back in 2015, and what myself and any law enforcement member can tell you, as a result of the back and forth firearm use, many passings have occurred, probably been about 50 since 2015. This is from the back and forth between YSL versus other teams. Young Thug is not accused of being the main person in these passings. The rapper's lawyer Brian Steele is pushing back on all claims against his client. He stated, Mr. Williams has committed no violation of law whatsoever. Steele told XXL in an interview last week, we will fight this case ethically and legally. Mr. Williams will be cleared. Now, with the serious allegations of Young Thug and YSL being responsible for 50 passings, there's zero chance the YSL rapper will be getting released on bond. Now, this is similar to the other YSL member Gunna, where this breaking news broke. On Monday, May 23rd, Gunna was denied bond once again after prosecutors claimed in court he holds a command role among YSL. Gunna appeared in court in Fulton County for a bond hearing. During the hearing, prosecutors spelled out why the rapper should remain behind bars until his trial begins. Now, prosecutors paint him as a key member in the YSL organization. The judge ultimately agreed, and Gunna's trial date was set for next year, being in January. Journalist Jewel Wicker was present during the hearing and reported on the event via Twitter, stating, a judge denied bond for Gunna. He set his date for January 9th, 2023. She posted, prosecutors allege that YSL is a street team, not just a record label. They also allege that Gunna serves in a command role. In a follow-up tweet, she added, prosecutors said Gunna is a documented team member and that he and Williams direct their troops to commit acts. The judge said his biggest concern concern was witness tampering. Gunna's attorney can file a renewed motion for bond at a later date. Now, if Young Thug's group YSL is found guilty of over 50 passings, Young Thug will be serving life in prison, same with Gunna. Law enforcement will be going through Gunna's cell phone, laptops, and any devices that he owns to gain information to see if he's responsible for anything like Young Thug. Now, if he's also found guilty, he will then be serving life in prison alongside Young Thug. Now, there's three main reasons why Young Thug will not be getting released on bond. You need to hear this. Now, first reason is how Young Thug runs his operation. So during the hearing, it was revealed by YSL members that snitched on Young Thug how he truly runs the show over at YSL. Law enforcement stated that Young Thug would often buy in bulk iPhones that were either stolen from street-related issues or even just used iPhones in bulk from a store. He would then use these iPhones as what's called burner phones. He would use these burner phones, each one for around 1 to 3 weeks. He would use these phones to FaceTime his troops to handle his business on the streets. Whether it was something narcotic related, firearm related, or even just going after rival street members, he would FaceTime his troops using these iPhones and then ditch them somewhere else. Now, when using FaceTime, it's impossible for law enforcement and cell phone providers to tap these phones and listen in on calls. Now, FaceTime is often used by street members, as there's no trace of what's said in those calls anywhere. Now, those same YSL members that snitched also went on to add that Young Thug is dangerous. Now, if you cross him, he will get you and your family. There is no second chances when it comes to Young Thug and YSL, but the next reason why prosecutors say Young Thug should not receive bond is kinda concerning. Now, during the YSL mansion raid, where Young Thug lives and would live if released on bond, law enforcement state there are GTA-type firearms found within the home. Firearms that are so rare and unique that law enforcement don't know how he would have even bought them or where he would have bought them from. Now, they use this to their advantage, saying that Young Thug is so deep into the streets that he's getting these unique firearms and he can do whatever he wants within the streets. So the prosecutors use this to their advantage, telling the judge, you cannot allow Young Thug, the leader of YSL, to be released on bond. He will be near firearms and he'll have full access to social media, where he could then direct his troops to then commit more acts on the streets. Now, with the last reason being, even with Young Thug behind bars, he's allegedly still organizing crime to this day. Now, when law enforcement first arrested Young Thug, they made sure at Fulton County he has no access to the media and all of his phone calls must be monitored within the jail. Now, when the news of YSL members snitching on Young Thug first was released to the media, we then saw No Jumper release this statement on Twitter. A YSL member was caught on an illegal cell phone trying to get someone on the outside to destroy evidence in the Young Thug RICO case. Now, the county jail inmate that was using this illegal cell phone was allegedly came from the famous drone delivery that happened last week. Now, last week, it was reported this evidence in court. Garlington and Quantavius did unlawfully commit the felony offense of conspiracy to possess telecommunication devices by an inmate. While speaking over a cell phone to an incarcerated Fulton County jail inmate, they discussed a plan to fly a drone carrying cell phones beyond the guard lines to a window at the Fulton County jail. Now, to simplify what this evidence means, associates of YSL made a plan to fly cell phones taped to flying drones over the fence at Fulton County and deliver those phones at a window at the jail. Now, law enforcement states they actually watched these drones fly in, and instead of stopping the drone and confiscating the cell phone, they allowed the phone to be used by inmates, and they just wiretapped the phones to gain information on their inmates' cases. Now, it was just kind of luck of the draw that the cell phone was delivered to a YSL member, one of the 28 that were originally arrested and brought to Fulton County. But due to this super creative police work, law enforcement were able to gain information on the YSL case that they never thought was even possible. And with No Jumper saying that there was a YSL inmate telling somebody on the outside to delete all of this evidence, this means that this cell phone user was using this illegal cell phone on the inside of jail to direct troops to either get rid of evidence, store it somewhere, or even just delete it off other devices. Now, I really hope that Young Thug is found innocent in the end of this entire case. If you do too, leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. It's been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.